So if you were to write a book on your life so far, what would be the name of that book that best reflects your life to date? And don't be hard on yourself. Welcome to the Rise to Thrive show. I am your host, James Borman, and if you are coming through, please do drop a love heart, please do comment, let me know if you're watching and how your week's going, and then please tag someone you think this might help or share it for me so we can get this message out to help in someone. So if you was to write a book on your life from the day that you were born to right now, based on your experiences and chapters, what would be the name of that book? And do not be hard on yourself. Okay. So before we get into this, I have one place, guys, left. One place left to come and work with me on my 12-week Accelerator program from January to the end of March, squeezing the absolute life in a positive way out of people, getting the most out of them. I reckon in those first 3 months, we're going to achieve more than you did in 2021. All right. So it's a very small program, a very small group, personalised program to come and work with me. There's one place left. There's an application form in the bio or in the copy. Go and fill it out. All right. So look, I very much look at my life as a series of chapters. I kind of feel like life is writing your own book, your own legacy to then be able to hand over to the kids or hand over to somebody that matters. And when I look at the chapters of my life, I kind of think about, okay, my childhood. I think about when my dad died when I was young. I think about my schooling and colleging, all those years of bullying that I went through. I then think about my first corporate job. I then think about joining the military, post-military teaching, entrepreneurship, like boot camp, the man coach. So all of these different chapters, all of these different chapters. Okay, and I think to myself, do you know what? I've learned a lot along the way. I've gained a lot of experience. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've had a lot of wins. And I'm where I'm meant to be right now in life. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be in life right now. But when we look at it as a book and a chapter, we then start looking, all right, well, I've read the chapters and I'm up to halfway through my book. Now what? What does the next few chapters look like? What does the rest of this book look like if I was writing this book? If we was to go today, would our book be a good read? Would it read about wins? Would it read about overcoming adversity? Would it read about achievement? Would it read about legacy? How exciting would your book be? How exciting is your book gonna be? So at the very start of this video, I asked you to name your book. What would your book be called about your life right now? What would best describe your book? Okay, if I was gonna look on the shelf and what would be the name of it called? The second thing I want to ask you is, what would be the name of your book, of your future book? So that book is between now and the next 10 years. Okay, what's the name of that book, okay, that future book that you're going to write over the next 10 years? And I feel that almost has to be your mantra moving forwards, whatever you call it. Man on fire, whatever you want to call it, midlife crisis. I'm only joking. What would it be? And I feel that whatever that title is, that's the theme of where you want to go, right? That's the theme of your mission. That's the theme of the direction that you want to head in. And when you think of life like a chapter, the process is what creates the chapters. The process is like the writing, the way that we show up, the way that we do things, the way we manifest thoughts, the way that we make decisions, the way that we move forwards. All of those things, they create the chapters. That's the content that you create. So I look at many of my guys in my mastermind, and I think about the journeys that they're on, I'm thinking about the processes that they're on, and I'm thinking about the future books that they're writing, i.e. their future chapters. And then when we get to the very end of our lives, and we look back and we reflect over our book and we go through our book in our mind and we go through each of those chapters, will we look back and go, man, that is an action-packed book? Ups and downs, trials and tribulations. Or will it be a safe book? Will it be a book of procrastination? Will it be a book of excuses? Will it be a book of a shoulda, a coulda, a woulda? And I had the privilege of talking with an old boy the other day in a coffee shop. Just chatting about, like, I didn't know him, and I'll probably never even see him again. And we just were talking, and we were talking about the world, and we were talking about everything, and I told him what I did, and I gave him a copy of my book, and he was made up. And he was talking about a lot of the things that he never really got to do. And it was really difficult to listen to it. Because there's a lot of stuff there that he can't go back and do now. And I really felt his pain in terms of regret. The regret that we carry around is like the heaviest emotion that we can carry, right? And it got me to thinking, God, if you come to the seminar and you saw where I bought that frame, and it had all of these little squares, and each square represented a week of my life. And I've said that I want to live to 100, right? And every time we cross off a square, we think, have we made the most of that week? And the way that I'm going into 2022 is very much that I want to squeeze everything out. I want to create a chapter of my life in 2022 that I'm going to look back and really say this was my defining year. This was my year this was my bounce back year. This was my defining year. This is the year that I really squeezed the most out of life. This is when I showed up to another level. You know, the man coach movement really started and really got going. And I think for many of you, that's what I want also. You know, what is going to be your movement? What is going to be your journey? What's the name of the book that best describes your future chapters over the next 10 years? Okay? And I just want you to contemplate on that. Yeah, I mean, you might want to come back here later and answer it. You might not want to be able to answer in these 7 to 8, 9 minutes that we do this little morning show. But it's definitely worth reflection. It's definitely worth thinking about how action-packed is your book going to be? How many memories, how many things are you going to have done in there? Is it going to be full up? Is it going to be a bestseller? Or is it just going to flop because it's full of procrastination and excuses? And the best thing is, you don't even have to sit down and write with your hand. You just got to start showing up. And then you build those chapters 1% a day, over and over and over and over again. All right, boys, we're nearly there. Last week before Christmas.